So I think the recordings are there with Priyanka, so she can help you out with that. Okay, but I still insist, please attend the sessions, because when you attend the session, you get to know many things. Okay, some not everything can be, even if it is recorded, but then again, the experience that you get at the time of learning the video actually happening. Okay, nothing has been shared. Fine. So now again, there is a misconfusion here. So currently the PPTs will be sent to third and fourth sem students. For first and second sem, you still have to wait. Okay. So those who are in third and fourth sem, I think these students will get the PPTs, and for rest of the people, it is difficult. So for rest of you, whoever is getting the opportunity to attend it online, attend it the live session, please do that, because there we share lots of things, we discuss lots of things, and then we learn mutually even more. Okay, fine. So before I begin, I just want to understand, like, what is your expectation from the session today? Anybody, just raise your hand and answer. Yeah, Shubham is always very active, so I remember. But anybody, what is in your mind that you think you can learn today? Okay, so you are sitting without any thought in your mind. Yes, Dilip, tell me.
Maybe
Unmute
we have.
yourself. Yeah.
Uh,
Can
mm,
I say?
regular.
Who wants to say yes?
Hello,
Yeah, Dilip.
ma'am. We are here to learn today, like the regular questions or the some common questions, and how to answer them during the interview, and how should be your body language or your
Correct.
attitude, or your attitude and your behavior kind of thing, and based upon that, you can give us the feedback like this.
Very yes. Fine. So similarly, so this is what actually what Dilip has said is all right. Okay. So this is what we are learning today is interview techniques. So again, as we have learned in the previous session, that when we are searching for a job, so searching job is itself a job. Okay. So similarly, interview technique is something which needs to be practiced and which needs to be worked upon. Okay. What I am teaching you today is just a technique. Okay, but this technique only works if we really practice on this technique. Whatever is being told, whatever is being said, is if it is practiced similarly, only then we can say that we are prepared for the interview. Fine. So preparation is important, rehearsal is important, and then execution is important, right? So we have these three parameters based on which we are going to learn today. Let's start the session, and we will have a question answer session at the end. If still somebody feels like intervening in between and adding value, please raise your hand and we can definitely allow. Fine? Fine. So what is an interview? Very simple. We all understand this. A meeting at which somebody is asked questions to find out if he or she is suitable for the job. Okay, course of study I have mentioned because some of the people prepare for higher education or something like that. That is why. Otherwise, interview basically happens for to check the suitability of a person for the job. Suitability means it is not just that you have to be suitable for the role and the responsibilities which is mentioned, but suitability in terms of your experience, your behavior, the culture of the company, your background, and if everything is matching or everything is not matching. Okay, that is why an interview is conducted. Purpose. What is the purpose of the interview? The first process of the purpose is to ensure correct selection. Okay, you need to be the right fit for the organization, for the role that has been posted. Okay, what you have to offer, what are your skills, what are your attitudes, what is the knowledge that you are carrying, everything, your personality, your character, your interest, you know, All these things make a mix, makes a connect with the current people in the organization, current system in the organization, and the overall work culture. You have to be ready, or you have to show your personality in a manner that you can adapt, right? Why you should be hired. Like we can also say this by telling what are they actually seeking in you. Okay, so every company has different demands. Some company requires that you should be very, very perfect with your job. You should be very, very perfect with the experience that you are carrying, because this job, other than everything else, required lots of work experience. Somewhere behavior matters the most, so they will judge you more on the behavior part and less on the knowledge part. So every organization has their own reason, their own purpose of hiring. So now we have to understand, seeking at the job that they have posted, seeking at the specifications that they have mentioned, like how I need to behave. Because as we said, we have to tailor our resume based on this. We also need to tailor, we also need to prepare ourselves for a particular interview. The interviewer will try to determine whether you are an asset for the organization or not. Job interviews are more challenging today. Do you agree with this? That compared to previous days, or previous few years, interviews have become more challenging?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Of course. Very
Yes,
good. So,
yes.
so you all know this has become more challenging. Reason being the growing competition in the market. So every year I have given you some stats, if you remember, during the session of industry dynamics, that more than 75 lakh people actually get ready for jobs every year. Okay, few lakhs of them get occupied by IT industry, and rest of the people have to be accommodated in other sectors prevailing in our country, or maybe outside anywhere. Fine. So this job competition is growing every year, changing demands of the job market world. Fine. So previously we used to see that fine, there is a position, and then again somebody who has the best qualification or experience can get the job. But now there are lots of psychological factors which has come into the picture, lots of behavioral factors which has come into the picture, and based on that only people either get selected or rejected. So the demand has changed. We are looking for people with better leadership skills, with better team working attitude. That individualisticness has got taken a individual players are required, but in most of the job, a leader is required, a team worker is required. So the demand has changed, and we also need to change accordingly. The focus has been shifted from only educational qualification to personal qualities. So like your different soft skills. We have a session later on, maybe in coming Fridays, on soft skills. So I'll be teaching you what soft skills are needed today and why. So now the focus has changed. So the focus has moved from only experience and qualification to personal attributes. How you can add value to the organization with the kind of character you are carrying, with the kind of skills in terms of soft skills you are carrying. And then again, lots of changes has happened in the interview techniques. There are several ways how interviews are happening. Now, previously, only focus was on face-to-face interview, right? And I think in past few years, few companies also started conducting interviews on video conferencing, when these people used to be in some other cities. So rather than spending on their traveling and all, the interview used to happen on video conference, but post COVID, this video conferencing interviews, telephonic interviews have become very important thing today. It saves time, it saves money of both the parties. Okay. And then again, people have changed their ways of conducting interviews. So let's understand what are those things which has changed. So everything has changed, but something which has not changed at all, and that is preparation. And that is hard work. There is no shortcut to success. So hard work is the only way. And for that hard work, preparation is the key. You have to prepare yourself. If we are talking about interviews, you have to prepare yourself for upcoming interviews. We cannot wait. We should not wait, rather, for opportunity to come to me and then I'll prepare myself. Because if I am waiting for the opportunity to come and then prepare, then opportunity will come and go. And we are unprepared. So we have to start that preparation today itself, so that when opportunity knocks the door, I am ready to open it full-fledgedly. Okay, you agree? So now think, how will you start? What will be the first thing to say? How you can impress the interviewer so that you create a differential factor between you and the other people or other candidates. Communicate your value proposition at a glance, something that we talk these days about your USP, your unique selling proposition. So how are you going to create value to the job? How are you going to create value to the organization? What change you can bring, and whether the change needs to be brought or not. So that is also important to know. If everything is going smooth and they're just looking for somebody, if we go and I start selling myself that I'm a change agent, right? I can bring so much of change in previous organization. I have also done this. So then that will be a mistake. So what is important? If I have to become a change agent, so first I have to understand whether this company really requires change or not, right? So I have to first make a connection between the values which is required by the organization and the value I have to carry. Again, tailoring is required. Let your ideas flow naturally. अभी ऐसा लगेगा जैसे we are reading from somewhere. I have mugged up all the answers, and that is how I am also talking during the interview. So interviewer are not fools. They get to know that yes, so this guy doesn't know much. So it is something which he or she has mugged up and is just trying to speak it here. So it shouldn't happen like this. So when you're prepared, it comes out naturally, smoothly. You take time to think, and then you take time to answer properly, well formulated, well articulated. Okay? Do not read from a prepared text or do parrot talking during your interview. So now why am I telling you? I am a recruiter, and in many of my interviews, especially when I conduct telephonic interviews, I always feel that some of the candidates are ready with another gadget near to the phone or the laptop from where they are having this interview, and they read it from somewhere. I'll tell you that special question also, on which I know I am 100% sure that this candidate is reading from somewhere. And the question is, what do you know about our company? So whenever I ask this question, I always feel that the person is reading from the website, because the answer is word to word similar to what is mentioned there. So never think if it is a telephonic interview, chalta hai, jaane do, I'll manage. No. You have to prepare for all sorts of interviews in the similar manner, similar pace. So preparation is first thing, which is very important. So these are some typical interview questions that you can be asked in an interview. Tell us something about yourself, school activities you have participated. That means college activities you have participated, your future plans, reasons which you might look for work in our company, what kind of boss you like, reasons of your choice in college major, like why have you studied this particular subject. Okay, what interests you about our product or services. So here the company is directly giving you opportunity to answer that why are they you interested in this company to work for. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, what your previous boss, your colleagues would talk about you. What would you benefit us if you join our organizations? So these are some typical questions which you really need to prepare and be prepared with it every day, every time. Because out of this 12 questions which is written here, at least 4 questions will definitely be asked in every interview. Maybe the words can change. Like here I have mentioned, what are your future plans? People can ask, what are your 3 years, 5 years plans down the line, right? So think that the words may change, but the question is going to remain same. So this is something which you should definitely prepare yourself. Now, types of interviews. Any questions so far, guys? Okay, fine. Let's move ahead. So there are different types of interviews that we have. It is HR interview, it is technical interview, and situational interview. Okay? I'm only talking considering that you people are all mostly professionals or study professionals. Like when I say study professionals, that means either you are studying and have some work experience or working somewhere, or you are directly professionals, right, who is already working and taken up this course to upskill. Fine. Otherwise, in types of interviews, there are different types of interviews like group interview, panel interview. So that is not important for you to understand. You have to understand what kind of interviews do you have to face. Okay. So it is HR round, it is technical round, and then it is situational round. Let's understand each one of them one by one. So first, well, HR interviews generally comes at the end. I don't know why I have put it in my first slide. So this is initial screening, shortlisting session. So now, fine. So the preliminary interview can also be called as HR interview. Okay. So this is a screening time. So screening time is somewhere where the chances of rejections are highest. Because in a minimum period of time, you have to give maximum. Why? Now, HR understand the problems that HR interviewers have. Now, they have to shortlist at least 5 good candidates or 7 good candidates to put to the technical head or maybe the line managers. Okay. And they have to conduct more than 20, 30, 50 interviews to shortlist that 5, 7 people. So your chances of getting rejected is higher in this round than getting selected. So in a small period of 7 to 10 minutes, you have to showcase all the required skills. HR interviewers want to find out general information about you, your previous roles, core qualifications, your strengths, your weaknesses, whether you are culture fit into the organization or not, and salary expectations. So when it comes about your previous roles, definitely you have to be ready with the challenges that you have faced. You have to be ready with what are the key areas where you have worked and you have created some difference in the company. You have benefited the company in some manner. In your strengths and weaknesses, they would like to know about the strengths. We'll be talking about all these points in detail also. Fine. So these are sample questions again. Again, these are general questions. Tell me something about yourself. Why should we hire you? Strengths and I think this is just a repetition. Now then it is technical interviews. Okay. Technical interviews consists of, am I too fast, guys, today?
No, ma'am.
It's fine. The
No,
pace
no.
is fine, right? Okay, okay. I just felt as if I'm moving just very fast. Okay. So technical interviews. So these questions consist of questions which is related to your training, your certifications, your professional degree that you are having, the knowledge which is related to this job profile or this job role. So knowledge here comes to the knowledge of your domain, right? If you are an engineer, if you are MBA into marketing or any similar area, anything that is related. So do you have basic knowledge or you don't have? So domains should always be stronger. So one very important thing, many times it happens that whatever we have studied, we feel as if ये काम में कभी use नहीं होता है, right? When we actually go to work, so whatever we have studied is something which we find and that whatever we have studied it was all waste. It doesn't happen like that, guys. उन concepts को हम कैसे अपने real life में, real job space में implement कर सकते हैं, execute कर सकते हैं, वो important है. So whatever we have learned, the important thing needs to be remembered thoroughly throughout your career. At least I would say first 5 to 7 years of your career. So domain knowledge is very, very important. Ability to implement knowledge into work. Same thing what I just said. जो भी सीखा है, जो भी पढ़ा है, if you are able to execute that in the real work scenario, implement that in the real work scenario, then whatever I have learned makes sense to me. Otherwise, it was all useless. Behavioral skills that you possess, does it matches to the requirement or not? Now, analyzing this behavioral skill is also a part of technical round. Because how do you implement it? That is important. How do you perform certain tasks? That is important. If it is a leadership role and you never had experience in handling teams, if you have never been into a role of handling a team, then you will not be able to do it. Now this role requires individualistic roles. You have been somebody who has always taken help of the team to complete their task. That means you don't possess that skill to work in that organization. So behavioral skills are very, very important. And now we actually have all sets of skills in us, but some skills are latent, like hidden within me, and some skills are like that we have not got real situation to show that. कभी वो situation ही नहीं आया कि मैं अपने उन skills को दिखा सकूं. So ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि I don't have these skills. And even if I don't have, I can develop those skills, right? But the question is how? We have to work on it. The same SWOT analysis that we have spoken, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So work on your strengths and weaknesses, find out those skills which is required in the market and I don't have. For most of the people, one skill which is very, very required is your communication skills. Communication skills, and that too in the language of English. So this is a very important skill required these days. And if you don't possess this, you won't be able to express yourself. You won't be. able to express ideas. So this learning this language, learning this skill is very important. So start working on your skills. Yeah. Again, sample questions. So this is for finance domain. So Priyanka, please share the PPT. So they will know there's no point wasting time on these. So this is something from marketing domain. These questions are important. So this is technical questions that I'm talking about. Okay, if it is general questions, I'll answer them. Now these are specific technical questions, which there is no other way of answering them but then learning them, writing them in your own words, preparing them, and then attending the interviews. Okay. Success in a job interview, it depends on what? Fine. So success depends on your level of confidence, self-confidence. We don't need to be overconfident. Currently, we are all overconfident. Why? Because I feel let the opportunity comes to me, then I'll prepare and then I'll answer and I'll get the job. I am sure about it. So this is overconfidence. I am confident. Why? Because I have prepared well. I am ready. So that is where self-confidence comes into picture. And this will only come if I am enough prepared. Start doing it from today. Okay? Good speaking skills. You have to know how you have to convey your ideas. You have to know how you have to convey whatever is there in your mind. If you're not able to talk, if you're not able to speak, whatever is there in my mind will remain in my mind only. So this conversation skill is very, very important. So I need to practice. How will I practice? So I need one answer for this question. How will I practice my speaking skills? Any one person, please raise your hand or unmute yourself and answer. Nobody wants to answer? Okay, Dilip again. Fine, Dilip, tell me. How can you improve your or check your speaking skills? How can you practice?
Ma'am, actually, it's a very basic problem that everyone faces. I guess this can be resolved by speaking in front of the mirror or speaking out, reading out the newspapers loudly in front of the mirror. I guess this is the easiest exercise we can do.
Thanks a lot, Dilip, and thanks a lot for the answer that I was looking at actually. Okay, now what happens with the speaking skills, guys? Many of us just complain and sit. I am not grown up in a family where we can talk in English. My background was not like that. My school, my college never taught me anything. My friends are not like that. So now this is all something where we only complain, complain, and complain. But we all don't understand that today we have got a very good resource and where we can say where we can utilize this gadget the most, and that is our mobile phones. There are several YouTube videos online where you can watch and you can practice online.
Ma'am, there is one app also.
Ma'am, I have one more suggestion.
Yes, please, Shubham, go ahead.
What I used to do is record my own voice. So
Exactly,
this is
very
also
good.
one way we can do, wherein we come to know the tone we
Yes,
are using, the fluency, and how we are speaking. So we can I mean analyze ourselves only by only hearing our own recordings.
very good, Shubham. So this is what. So first thing is speaking, right? So the first Dilip has answered. That was the first step. Start reading newspapers, start reading books, anything in English that you like to read. Fine, your interest area. It can be sports, it can be entertainment, anything that you like in the world. Start reading them and talking yourself in front of the mirror. Then it comes to recording yourself. So pehle record kya karoge? You don't know anything right now, right? You don't know how to talk in English. So what will you record? You will not know anything. But when you have practiced by reading, by talking to yourself in the mirror, start recording yourself on this mobile video. Okay? And when you record and listen to yourself, then you will know the flaws. Then you will know the problems. Fine? My weaknesses. And gradually you can resolve that. And to do that, listen to more and more English comments, English math subjects on TV, mobiles, go and see more and more web series, movies, whichever, creates interests, whichever is interesting for you. जो आपको पसंद हो उसको देखिए. And that is how you can enhance your speaking skills. Because if I don't have speaking skills, whatever is there in my mind, a good answer, a good idea, or any good thing will remain in my mind only. So I have to know how I am going to talk it out. So speaking skills is very, very important. Like Shubham has rightly said, most of us are facing this problem these days. Every one of us needs to go back and work on it. Trust me, guys, even I do that. I watch all English movies with subtitles. Because, it teaches me. It teaches me new words. It teaches me new phrases. It helps me in using certain sentences in certain situations. I still learn a lot. So every web series, every English content that I see, I always see with a subtitle. And I'm improving myself. I'm trying to improve even more, right? So all of us should do that. Success will always come based on the preparations that I have done for the interview. Okay, we have already spoken what needs to be prepared. Appropriate interview strategies. And every interview has only one strategy. And that is practice, practice, and more practice. Rehearse, rehearse, and rehearse. Prepare yourself for that interview. तैयारी कीजिए. Right? अगर हम तैयारी करेंगे तभी हम ready हो सकते हैं. अगर हम तैयारी ही नहीं करेंगे, if we don't even practice anything, if we don't prepare, we will never be ready, right? And we should not we should not wait for the right time to practice. That right time will never come in life. So we have to prepare from today. We have to start practicing, rehearsing from today. Okay? Tell me something about yourself. The very first important question, almost 90% of the interviewer begin their interview with this question. Not just in an interview, guys. When you join any new organization, when you go to any new place, everybody asks about your introduction. Who are you? What are your strengths? Why should I befriend you? मुझे तुम्हें क्यों दोस्त बनाना चाहिए? Why should I even talk to you? Even if you are somewhere in a place where you are talking to a stranger, even stranger wants to know about you. What is your background? Where are you working? What is your qualification? How? This something that we talk about, networking. So how this networking is going to start? This will start with an introduction. So the other person, to understand that networking with you is important for them, they need to know all these things which is mentioned here. Otherwise, they'll not network with you. Why are you important? I'll not. Fine, we met. Let's forget. Right? So It's not something that this answer should be prepared only for the interview, but it should be prepared for every next step in my life. Even when I step out of my house, anybody can ask me this question, and I have to be prepared. Not everything is required to be spoken, but major things has to be spoken so that they know that you are the right guy to network with, right? Fine. So your introduction, your professional qualification regarding your internship or your previous work experience, skills, strengths, hobbies, family background. So since today we are talking about interviews, so this is the total introduction. If you have been given at least, 1 minute to talk, this 1 minute should consist of all these things. Okay? Who are you? What is your professional qualification? What about your previous work experience, your skill strength? Now, the entire answer should finish within 1 minute time. It should not be
रिकॉर्ड
big.
हो जाती है ना रिकॉर्डेड है ना रिकॉर्डेड सुन रिकॉर्ड आपको मिल जाती है रिकॉर्डेड सुन सकते हो आप बाद में
या तो रिकॉर्डिंग बाद में सुन सकते हैं, बट लाइव सुनेंगे तो ज्यादा मजा आएगा, है ना? Okay, fine. So in 1 minute, so now to prepare this interview, to prepare this introduction, I have to write it down somewhere, so that I have to check the watch that I'm completing this within 1 minute time, and all my information is covered in that, right? Even if we are talking about the internship or the previous work experience, it doesn't need to be elaborated. Just key things are required. Okay? My skills, whatever I have, whatever I possess. I am an apt communicator, or maybe I'm an apt leader, or maybe some technical skills that I am such certified or such certified. No, I have a CFA certification, or maybe anything, that is related to your job. So that introduction should consist of that. I must talk about my strengths, whatever strengths I have. Never talk about your weaknesses in your interview. Now, weaknesses is a part that is my weakness, some area where I really lack. Why should I myself go ahead and tell them? Let's wait. If they want to find out, they'll ask me this question. What are your weaknesses? If they don't find this question important, maybe they'll skip. So no point mentioning it. Your hobbies. Your hobbies are very important, guys. So most of us talk about hobbies like I love cooking, I love dancing, I love watching TV, I love playing cricket. So these things are not considered under hobbies. Hobby is something which is equivalent to work, which creates certain value into you. Hobbies is something which is not done when I have leisure time. Time pass के लिए हम hobby नहीं करते. Hobby is something which keeps me occupied when I have nothing else to do, but is also creating value to my life. So when people say that reading books is my hobby, and if they're really reading books, then that is an important hobby. So unless you have such a hobby, don't mention it. Okay? You should stand different from the crowd. So every person today have cooking and dancing as their hobby, cut it off. If you really have some good hobby, like some people say, I love, working socially, helping people socially. So what do? Right? So it's not something कि किसी का हाथ पकड़ के road cross करवा देना is something is my hobby. No. So I am engaged with an NGO service, or maybe, in social service, I teach some children for free, some underprivileged students, or I help somebody, in a regular work that you can call as a hobby. So hobby एक ऐसा part है, अगर आपका है, you mention this in the interview. If you don't have, skip it in the interview during your introduction. Okay? If they ask, be prepared for it. But be prepared for some real hobbies. Okay? Family background. So definitely if you have some good people, it doesn't mean good, like if you have somebody working in the industry, you should definitely name them. Okay, otherwise tell them about your parents, your siblings, that is all. Family background only requires your immediate family, not in detailed one. Okay, if they are more interested, they might ask you and then you can answer. So this introduction has to be covered in 1 minute. So sab log, go after the session gets over, go back and read, record and prepare this 1 minute interview. Tell me about your strengths. बहुत important question है, because जहां हम strengths की बात करते हैं वहां बहुत सारे questions आ जाते हैं. So now the one question that can be asked is, tell me about your strength. The question can also be asked is, why should we hire you? Again, you have to talk about your strengths. Why your professors or your previous colleagues or your previous bosses like you? Again, you have to talk about your strengths. So same question can be asked in different manners. So this question becomes very, very important question of your life. Like, what are your strengths? This means what are the areas which is strong for you? So strength about your subject knowledge. So I can always prove myself good if I have very strong knowledge of my domain. Your ability. Now here few soft skills I have added. Okay, prioritizing, problem solving, working under pressure, focus on projects, deadlines, your professional expertise, your leadership skills, your positive attitude, all these comes under your strengths. So when I am mentioning my strengths, I have to be ready with some scenario, with some old situation which has happened and where I have been able to showcase this skill, right? Similarly, as I have told during your resume session, when you are writing your key skills, like in key skills, if you have mentioned that I have very good organizing skills or I have problem solving skills. So definitely the next question will come, tell me a situation where this skill has helped you completing your task, or this skill has helped you getting some reward, promotion, or a company you have, your accolade, something. So you have to be ready with that situation. Now what happens, guys? Agar hum ready nahi rehte, if I have not prepared, so although many things has happened in my previous work, in my previous study or something, but immediately or spontaneously, I could not remember them. I could not memorize them. So that is why, if you have mentioned it somewhere and while coming for this interview, aapne sirf ek scan kiya and you are ready, so you will recall that at that point. Okay, so that is why all of these things should be written somewhere so that whenever you go for the interview, you can just do a recap. So whatever things that you have been appreciated for in your college, in your school, not school, in your college or in your previous organizations, please mention it somewhere so that you can remember that when it is really required. So all these skills should be ready with a background, should be ready with a story. What are your weaknesses? Of course, many people ask these questions. Of course, being a recruiter, I always hate this question, because why are you asking me this, right? I have certain weaknesses, but I'm still trying to overcome that. Fine. So I don't like this question at all, but still, since interviewer asks, so we have to be prepared with it. So how are you going to answer this question? Anybody? Anything? If you want to speak up, please do that. Else I'll tell you how. Do you have something in your mind? It's a very tough and very challenging question, huh?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Regarding ma'am,
this question is and
regarding
give
what?
something positive about the weakness that we have.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Now see,
Like
we have
concentrating
all.
on one,
Mm-hmm.
like many of us having the
Okay,
weakness
fine.
of
Raise your
concentrating
voice.
at one without thinking of other tasks.
Okay, fine. Now see, I'll give you one trick. Okay. So one trick is this question needs to be prepared well. Fine. Now, what is my motive in this interview? My motive is to crack this interview, right? So I have to keep that a target, and keeping that as a target, I have to make a weakness which is not mentioned anywhere in the job description. You have read the job role, you have read the profile, you have read the job description. Now, your weakness should be something which is not required in this job at all, because that will help you crack the job. So if now you say that I am a very creative person, but at the same time, I am not a good organizer, and this job requires somebody who has got organizing skills, right? So there I'll make a mistake. And even if you say that I'm not a good organizer, but I'm trying to overcome that, I'm still trying to improve, so this will not work. So make a weakness, create a list of weakness about yourself, 3, 4, 5 weaknesses, and read the JD. Whichever is not mentioned there, you tell this is my weakness. Now, if understand, I cannot communicate so well, right? In English language, although I'm a good communicator, because see, communication is an art. So it can be done in any of the language. Why I focus on English language? That is just because see, our corporate works in this language only. Fine. We are not in any other this occupation or work, but then I'm into we are working in corporate. So corporates just knows English language the best, right? So that is why I ask you to communicate in that. So you have to be there, communicate. Now, any job which requires more of communication, and there if I go and admit that yes, my English, my communication is little weak, but then again, I'm working on it. I have started taking classes, and I have started reading, writing, and doing everything. So that is not going to help me that way. I cannot admit that weakness at all. So are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Yes. At some point of time, if I have to lie, I have to. Okay? It's just that how I present that. So presentation is very, very important. So read the JD. Whatever weakness doesn't matches to that, that is your weakness. Okay? Understood? Never make your weakness, never mention your weakness, whatever is required for the job. Even if you are a weak communicator, right? Even if you are a weak English language expert, and then again, if you are able to answer the questions properly, if you are able to show that although this is my weakness, but I can still solve the problems that you are facing, I am still a champion in the work that is required to be done in this company, they will hire you with your this weakness. But अगर आपने इस weakness को mention कर दिया, then it becomes difficult. Okay? So weakness हमेशा वो होना चाहिए जो इसके JD में mentioned ही नहीं है. Did you get that? Show me few thumbs up if you get that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You know, a small appreciation, a small motivation is very important for everyone in life. So wherever you get a chance, do appreciate people, even for their small tasks. Okay, I think you also need the same. Fine. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, thank you, guys. Now you can stop. Yeah. So it is steps to apply before interview. Okay. क्या करना है interview के पहले? So far, any question, guys? You can just raise hand, or we'll wait till the end to answer all your questions. Okay. Fine. So develop the interview file. Now, sometimes, you know, I am not carrying a piece of paper right now, but then sometimes people just come to me and, you know, they hand me their resume as, you know, just take it out from a file and hand it over to me. So that becomes a crumpled paper. You know, that shows that you're not giving respect to this paper, which is a very bad habit. You know, you should always have a file. We should have straight A4 size paper that should be called as a resume. It has no slits. It should have no marks on it. It should not be crumpled. It should be handed over properly with both your hands to the person who has come to take it. So always carry 2 copies of resume with you. So now with resume, don't wait to take a printout at the last moment, which most of us do. While running for the interview location, always short on time, what we do? Oh God, ek printout bhi nikalna hai. Right? Don't do this. You know, in all this act, we actually, you know, stop focusing on the content of the interview. We focus on the preparation for the interview. And, you know, that only creates more nervousness. So if you have a resume ready, at least one day in advance, just go out in the market, take the printout and keep it in your file. I will not say keep 10 resumes ready. Why? Because you have to tailor it. You remember? You have to customize your resume based on the JD that has come to you. So, इंटरव्यू के एक दिन पहले जाकर के 2-3 कॉपीज निकाल लीजिए and keep it properly in a file. Some companies demands for it, not all. Your degrees, your certificates, your experience certificates, experience letters and all. So you should be ready with it. But if in case you're not carrying it, there is no problem. Okay? And degree certificates, experience certificate, हम जो भी carry करेंगे अपने साथ, we will always carry a photocopy. We will never carry originals. I remember way back, almost it is 10-12 years back, I was going for an interview and again I did the same mistake. In a ziffy, in a hurry, I went to the ATM because I didn't have cash in my hand and you know that was a time when we never had GPay and Paytm and all. So I went to the ATM machine to get cash and I left my file on top of that machine. And I was, you know, when I went to the interview, I didn't have my resume. And then I realized, oh God, I have left my file there. So although the company, the people, well, they said that they have understood this problem of yours, so you can go back because it has all my certificates, my degrees, everything. I went back and I was lucky to find that file. It was still lying there on that ATM box, on that ATM machine. Although I could not crack that interview, so that's the story that आपकी कोई भी गलती माफ नहीं की जाएगी. Please try to understand these corporate people are not considerate at all. In that gap, if they find some good people, they will go forward and hire them because they also have lots of pressure. So rather than making all these mistakes, Be ready with the file a day in advance. Okay, 1 or 2 blank paper, because they might ask you to, write something, draw something and show it then and there, draw some flow chart, or maybe draw some design. How are you going to do this? Write this answer. So you have to be ready. You cannot sit in the interview, like you can do it, but it is always good that you are carrying a small piece of paper or a diary, uh, and you can take it out from your this bag or file and write it down. So all these things shows that you have prepared for this interview. Interviewer loves all these things. Okay, so preparing a file is very, very important. Revise your subject knowledge. Subject knowledge, technical expertise, general awareness, topics related to social, political, economic, environmental issues, national and international affairs, key newsmakers, recent development in different areas. So any job that you go for, knowledge of current affairs is very, very important. What is happening around, in and around me in the market? What are the major newsmakers these days? General awareness is very important, because that shows that you are so prompt in your life. You are so updated in your life, and you are a social person. Everything creates some impact on you. So this general knowledge becomes very, very important. These days, this generation wastes lots of time on YouTube watching some kind of shorts, some these videos or something. It is good, it is fine. Please, I'm not telling you to just stop all these things. Go ahead, do it, guys. Agar dikh raha hai, so why won't you entertain yourself? Do it. But at the same time, also see what is happening in the market, the current news. Anything can be relevant to the job. If specifically the finance guys, the marketing guys, HR guys, why specifically every domain needs to know about what is happening currently. Now, there was a budget presented last month. Now, this budget has brought lots of revolution in different sectors. So because of which many things has got affected. So what were those? Are you aware? This war is happening. Our Reverend Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has visited Ukraine and has, requested this Zelensky to stop the war. So all these news, if the war stops, there will be a boom everywhere. There will be so much of appreciation for our country, and all these things create somehow even a small impact on my life too. Because अगर वर्ल्ड वॉर, जो ये वॉर चल रहा है, वो रुक जाएगा, तो फिर से मार्केट में बहुत सारे जॉब्स आ जाएंगे, हमारी सैलरीज बढ़ जाएगी, जो इतने सारे रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लगे हुए हैं, प्रोबेबली वो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हट जाएंगे, एक्सपोर्ट्स एंड इंपोर्ट्स विल इंक्रीज, सो डेफिनेटली देयर विल बी अ बूम इन आवर पर्सनल लाइव्स आल्सो. So we have to show that, so that is why this general awareness is very, very important. Any product we talk about, so now that product has created a difference in the market, or any news, it can be, as I said, it can be related to any development. Always keep yourself updated. Okay, subject knowledge and technical knowledge is important, and other than that, all general awareness topics are equally important. Fine, I think you are getting my point, guys. Next important thing is research. Candidate should have candidate must do the basic research about the organization. So many a times that I have also faced, and you have as a recruiter, and you must have faced as a candidate, every company asks you, why we should hire you? why you have applied for this job, why this company. Unless you do a thorough research, you will not be able to talk the real answer that they are looking at. So what is our habit? We generally research the name of the company, okay, mission statement, vision statement, its values, done. These are the products, these are the services, okay, this is the history, 96 mein this company was started, fine, done. So this is what I know. Okay, let's read what this company do. So it manufactures laptop, done. So fine, so this is what I should know about the company. And at the last moment, when I'm running, when I'm sitting in the bus, when I'm sitting in the train, when I'm sitting in the cab, I just do a skim scan, right? This is what we do regarding research of the company. So this is where we actually make mistakes. Researching the company is very, very important, guys, and in the right manner. The researching will help you answer questions in a manner that you are already in their team and answering this question. Because you know the real problem this company is facing, the real reason why they have to hire you. So for that, job role, skill, experience posted by the company, you have already read. Who are the key players? That means who is the MD, CEO, or probably agar aapko pata hai which department you are being interviewed for. So those people who are there in the organization, always LinkedIn will help you to know who are the key players in the organization. Now, news and recent events about the employer. This is something which creates difference if you really know this. So go on the news blog and try to search what has been recent development in terms of products, in terms of services, in terms of CSR activity, or any this other reason that this company has been in news. You know, some competitor has, you know, created some kind of mischief or something. So whatever is the recent thing that has happened in the organization, you must know. If a recent client, products or services has failed in this company or has been rewarded well in this company, you must know, because based in that, you can prepare your answers. That this is the area where the company was lacking, that I have come to know through internet or through news blogs. And this is where I feel that my expertise can help in overcoming this problem. When you talk like this, your chances of selection goes higher. So read more and more about the company. Focus on the activities of the organization, right? What is its growth rate? So always go and look at its financial turnovers. There are several websites like Zobacop and all, which helps you knowing the current financial status of the company. Many companies also upload their this turnover and all on internet in form of PDF. Some companies doesn't do that, but still with their you know, standing in the market, you can understand that okay, previously it was so small, now it has become big, now it has become even bigger. So this is 30 years old organization. It started so small and today it has reached here. When it started, it had only 2 products. Today they are selling hundreds of products. So you should know all these scales, you know, all these upward this curves, that how this company has grown from scratch to this level. So when you know this and when you answer based on all this information, you become even more relevant for the job. So a proper research about the company is important. Am I making myself clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Few
Yes,
rules
ma'am.
that needs to be applied before the interviews. Okay. One thing I have already mentioned, that keep your file ready. Okay. Second is keep your answers brief and concise. Abhi kya hota hai when we are not prepared, right? When we are not prepared well, so we always do beating around the bush. We don't know the answer, so we always try to confuse the interviewer. We do lots of I think I guess, I feel. So when you say all these words, I think, I feel, I guess, maybe, or according to me, so all these are negative words during interviews. I guess, I feel, nahi. I am confident on my answer. So I have to be prepared with the answer. An answer should not be very big. I should not take lots of time in answering one question. I should not give lots of examples. I should not include lots of people. My answer should be brief, maybe 4 lines or 5 lines. That is all. So every answer should be completed within a period of 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. Why? Because interviewer's time is very, very important. And if you play with that time, they get angry. They don't like it. So unless we are prepared, this will never happen. If I'm not prepared, I'll talk same thing in, what I do, I keep rephrasing the same answer, same line again and again. Fine. So prepare your answers before you go for the actual interview. There are several websites which consists of questions and answers of your domain. Go to those websites and start learning, start writing, so that while you are going for the interview just a day before, you can rehearse all that once again. Once again, matlab, I have already practiced it before. I have prepared myself before. Today, I am just revising things. Got that? Prepare a few success stories. So whatever skills you have mentioned, whatever work experience you have mentioned, you must be ready with some success stories. That this is my work, this is how I have implemented this in the organization, and this is how organization has been benefited, or this is how the productivity has increased, or this is how I have brought a difference. So recently I hired few freshers for my company, and this new guy who had zero work experience, has suddenly one day come up with such a website which gives the direct data which the company used to buy in thousands of rupees. And this website was giving us free data. So this new guy, who was just 2 months old in the organization, was awarded with Star of the Quarter. So for that, you have to be ready with that stories. That this is how I have brought some change in the organization. This is how I have created difference in my job. Maybe when I joined, I had a small team of 2 guys because very less assignment was given to us. After my joining, my team increased to 5 because more and more tasks was poured into my team rather than other teams. So that success story can only happen if I am a hard worker, and even if when I have written certain things in my resume, I should be I should be ready with the background of it. Okay, the key skills, the expertise that I have mentioned, the work experience that I have mentioned. Put yourself on their team. While answering the question, I should talk as if I am already in your team. Now all these things require articulation, guys. आप कैसे अपना आंसर प्रिपेयर करोगे so that it shows that you are so much intended to join this job that you have started imagining that you are already in their team. See, now maybe I am giving this interview for the sake of giving it. I'm not interested in the company. I'm not interested in the profile. Maybe I just thought that I'm sitting idle. I need some experience. So I have come for the interview. It can be anything. But still, I will always suggest wherever you go, give your best. Even if you are not interested, never ever show that not interested thing in the interview. Maybe not today. Maybe tomorrow they have something which can be your bigger interest. And that time, if you apply again, or if they remember you, they will search you from somewhere and hire you. So that imprint is very important. So even if you are interested or not interested in this job, you should always give your best during interview. And the best way to answer is putting yourself into their team and then answer the question. That shows your high level of interest. Getting my point? Make a conversational flow. So the flow should not be broken. So many a times when I'm being asked a question, I stay quiet, I start thinking, and I take lots of time to think and stay quiet for a longer period. If I am quiet for more than 15 seconds, then that flow breaks. And if it continues for 2-3 questions simultaneously, that interviewer lose their interest in your candidature. So unless you are prepared, you will not be able to do this. If sometimes you're not prepared also, guys, be ready with something so that you can maintain that flow. You don't have to stop in between. Okay? So be ready with the everything that is mentioned in your resume. Be ready with the key skills, expertise that you have mentioned, your certification courses, everything. Prepare because you have to articulate your answer. Maybe some things needs to change, but that flow of conversation should not stop. Okay? So this is just a tip. Arrive early, use washroom to just, freshen up yourself. Definitely have water. If you're not carrying water along with you, you please ask the person standing there to help you with water. There is nothing wrong in asking this. Having water is a gesture which shows your level of confidence, and at the same time, your nervousness also goes down. So always have water before entering the interview room. If you're carrying yours, good. If you're not carrying, you can always ask. There is nothing wrong into it. Okay? But do have water. Body language tips. So somebody has told me in the beginning that today we will know the body language, how we need to behave during this interview. So yes, it is important. So now here somebody in my last class told me that ma'am, work from home is very good. See how well we are learning today, with this online courses, online training programs. So अभी guys, मुझे तुमको firm handshake सिखाना है, तो मैं online कैसे सिखाऊं तुमको? Can we shake hands here? So we have lots of challenges with this, huh? Fine. So firm handshake is required. With this handshake, so now see, this is one palm, This is another person's palm. So a firm handshake means that this palm should enter this palm completely, and then this handshake happens. What do we do sometimes when somebody raises their hand? We just touch and handshake done. We hold it like this and do handshake, right? And if a female is there or a male is there, that more nervousness is created. Specifically, if female has to make a handshake with the male, so it's like quick. So I don't know, even in this generation, why do they have so much of gender differences in their mind? A handshake should be firm, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the place, irrespective of the level of people. I'm very junior, he's so senior or she's so senior. How can I shake hands? No. When you enter the interview room, extend your hand for a firm handshake, completely open hand. See, this palm should be completely open. All fingers together and give your hand for a handshake. See, this is little bent, right? Can you see this same way? Because it has to enter the other person's palm like this. The firm handshake shows your level of confidence. Okay? Maintaining eye contact. So while talking, you should not look here and there, in the sky, in the ground, or outside the window, what is happening. No. You maintain eye contact with the interviewer. Now, maintaining eye contact should not be confused with staring somebody. No, घूरना नहीं है हमें. I don't have to stare somebody. I have to maintain eye contact. This means my eyes should be somewhere on the face and should not go here and there. Okay, I should smile, because smile, yes, it increases the level of confidence. Smile makes my personality even better. Smile shows that, yes, I know lots of things, but yes, when you feel that you are not very much prepared for this interview, so don't unnecessarily so smile. Okay, unnecessarily smiling, over smiling, now that gives a negative impression. Smile only when it is required. Now, if somebody is asking you a very serious question and you smile and answer, that is not right. Fine. If you see a news reporter, now they are giving you the news of a war zone, and with a smile, will that work? No. So don't take things wrong. Smile means when you enter the room, you should carry a smile. While giving introduction, you can carry a smile, but then again, drop that smile and be serious with the answers, right? बीच में थोड़ा थोड़ा smile करते रहने का, so that it shows that you are not very uncomfortable in this situation. You are liking the place and you are a good person to be with, right? With a negative your opposite curve in their mouth, so that shows that you are a very sad, depressing person. I don't have to give that side of my character or my personality during the interview. Even if I can be. Okay, so it's not something that I am only forced to smile all the time. I am a depressing person because I'm introvert. It can be, but during interview, please show the positive side only. Once you are in the job, then you change. That is all upon you, how you really want to be in this world. But at the time of interview, smile. Listen carefully. So if I am concentrating on the interview, I will listen carefully. But if I am more interested, what is happening outside the window? If I am more interested in my thoughts, कल रात में girlfriend से breakup हो गया. If I am more interested, what happened on the way while I was coming here, एक scene हो गया था. If I'm more interested in anything else other than this interview, then definitely I'm not going to listen the interviewer properly. So every time I'll say, sir, can you please repeat? Ma'am, can you please tell your question once again? So this is all creating negative impressions. आपका वो negative, marks पढ़ रहा है. So it is better that you listen carefully once. एक बार में question सुनो and answer this. Wear formal attire. Now, I don't think so. What is a formal attire needs to be taught. Still, when we will have our class on soft skills, I'll show you some pictures that will make the clarity on what is a formal attire for a man and for a women. Comb your hairs neatly. ऐसा झाड़ू बना करके ऐसा घोंसला बना करके नहीं जाएंगे. Okay? Comb it neatly. Put some oil. Comb it. Wear formal shoes and properly trimmed nails. Okay. Now the girls will tell me, why do I need to trim my nails? I have done so hard work in, making these nails look so fine, look so sharp. So I'm not asking you to cut all your nails. It is your decision how you want to keep it. But then again, if you have long nails, it should be properly filed. And for men, personally, I don't feel long nails are good for you. So it is better you put it trimmed. But this generation is very different. So if you also love long nails, please file it properly. Okay. So this is all about your body language tips. So there are lots of things that you have to learn in body language, like how you have to sit in the interview, how you should face the interview. So all those things, when we will have the session of soft skill, we'll do that. Okay. Fine. General mistakes that candidates do. क्या-क्या गलतियां हम सब करते हैं as a candidate? Preparation ही नहीं करते हैं. We don't prepare. We wait for the last moment when this opportunity will come to me, when the call of the interview will come to me, then I'll start preparing. And that means that I'm going unprepared. Preconceived notion over choice of job. मुझे तो यही job चाहिए. I'm not going to do this kind of role. This is the only role which I require. I need an analyst role. I need a research role. I only need this job. So ये preconceived notion इस market में नहीं चलेगा. We all have to be pretty ready with every next job coming to me, because there is lots of scarcity, lots of dearth in the market. So whatever job is coming to you, go ahead, grab it. Confused over the job description. JD समझ में ही नहीं आया. What does JD really wants? If you have not understood the job description, always have a guide in your life who can help you with understanding what it actually requires. And still, if you have a confusion, then interviewer gives you one chance to ask at the end of the interview, like, do you have any question to ask? So you can always ask, sir, can you please, or ma'am, can you please clarify on the roles? Can you please clarify on the kind of person you're looking for this role? Right? So this gives you clarity on the JD. Being judgmental over the size of the company. ये तो बहुत छोटी कंपनी है. इसका लोकेशन ठीक नहीं है. इसका ऑफिस अच्छा नहीं है. All these judgments is not going to help, guys. Even smaller organizations, there are many startups these days which can be small but pays you well. There are many companies which is small but gives you more opportunity to learn. And there are many larger organizations where your job is very small. So never be judgmental on the size of the company. Always look at the role that it is offering you, salary that it is offering you, and the benefits it is offering you. Okay? And initial 5 years may, the most important thing is learning. Where I can learn more, whether a small organization or a bigger organization. Okay? So never be judgmental. It is a small organization or big. Join it if you feel that it is good. Read its reviews on the internet, some current employees or old employees do write their reviews about the company. Read it. Usko bhi 100% right mat samjho. Everybody has their own mindsets. Everybody has their own perspectives about things. But at least it will give you little glimpse what this company has good and what this company has bad. Displaying low energy or too much energy. I'm too aggressive for this interview. I am over prepared. Even if they have not completed the question, you start answering. So that is all wrong. Or very low on energy. Sitting with your shoulders twisted, sitting nervous, and showing yes. Can you please repeat again? Oh, I think so. All this attitude is not going to work. No very high, no very low. Okay? Conversation is important. Flow is important. Fine? Talking in cliches. Come back. Matlab, see, now I have told you that you must talk in brief. So talking in brief doesn't mean that talking in few words. Right? You have to elaborate your answer. Elaboration is important. Exaggeration is something which should not be done. So that elaboration is important. Okay? So don't talk in few words. Wherever elaboration is required, wherever explanation is required, do that. Okay? So don't try to commit these mistakes. If you fail, agar aap fail ho jate ho, means you are not able to crack that interview. So what? Failing job interview doesn't mean that you are incapable of working. So there is no point feeling depressed, no point feeling bad. Of course, you should feel bad for some time, but you should feel bad if you are not prepared well. You should feel bad if you have taken this job or this interview very lightly. Otherwise, don't be upset about it. You have to work on your flaws. आप में जो भी कमियां हैं, उस पर काम करना है. Start working on that drawbacks, that weaknesses that you really have. Try to polish your skill sets. Whatever you have skills, उसको और better बनाइए, polish कीजिए. Case studies पढ़िए. Case studies के answers लिखिए. Net पे जाइए. देखिए कैसे आप अपने skill sets को better कर सकते हैं. Listen to people, the good motivators, the good teachers. Understand. With that interview, if you have failed to crack, understand which were the areas where you were lacking and work on those areas. Work or to fill that gap because of which you could not clear this. What measures you have taken, and lastly, things that are required to succeed in the interview. Self-evaluation is the most important thing. Evaluate yourself. Why did I fail? When I do an analysis, I will find where are the gaps, and then I should try filling those gaps. Okay? Still, in spite of having a slow job market, we still have jobs in the market. I just need to prepare myself for that job. And at this point of time, whatever comes to me, grab it, guys. Learning important है और हर job मुझे कुछ ना कुछ सिखाती है. ठीक है? Oh, I come to an end with this. So thank you for patiently listening to me. If you have any query, please shoot up. I'll answer it. Yeah, Himanshu, please ask the question.
Ma'am, I have three main questions. So let me
Okay.
start with one by one. Because when, during a technical interview, if I do not know the answer, sometimes it happened that, yeah, actually I do not know anything regarding that. So what are the best way to respond that?
So now see, in one of my slide, I said that you have to maintain the conversation flow. Now, one question they asked you and you have no clue about that, right? So there is no
Yeah.
point denying that, sorry, sir, or sorry, ma'am, but I am not aware about this. Maybe I have to study more and get the answer, or maybe I have not worked in this area, so I am not aware. So very politely, I have to deny straightforwardly that, sorry, I don't know. But
Okay.
if it persistently is happening, कि वो आपसे question पूछ रहे हैं, and every question you are telling, I am sorry, I don't know, then it is bad. For one or two questions in an interview, if you go forward and say that I'm sorry, I don't know this question, or maybe I'm sorry, I'll go rework and can give you answer later, that is completely fine.
Okay.
You are not expected to know each and every answer of the question that they are asking, because it is a vast world. Yes. Next.
Okay, ma'am. So my second question is the common question asked in HR round or in technical as well. Why are you looking for a job? Right. So the truth answer is you guys are paying me a lot or for the same job to my current, right? But they are not want to listen this answer. So can you please
No,
advise
no, no.
me
Who
what
said?
exactly they want to answer that?
See. Now I am looking this job for a growth in my life. This growth can be both personally, professionally, monetarily, socially, everything. I'm getting a growth in terms of designation. I'm getting a growth in my salary. I'm getting a growth in terms of value of the organization, the name of the organization. Your organization is so good. So showing that growth is important. See, directly if you say, I want to join you for the money you are offering, even that is not bad today. Why? I am straightforward. But then every interviewer doesn't accept this. So to articulate, you just add the term growth. So growth in terms of money, growth in terms of designation, growth in terms of maybe size of the company if it is a bigger organization, or growth in terms of learning. Everything you can mention, right?
So ma'am,
Just prepare
if
this.
I am
Yeah.
if I am sending that or if I am just letting them know that uh, for personal and financial growth. So is this the better answer?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yes. Next.
Okay, ma'am. So my third question and the last one is uh, actually मैम क्या मुझे मतलब एक कंपनी में अप्रॉक्स एज आई एम वर्किंग इन IT. So अगर मैं for my growth or domain change, I am continuously changing the company. This is not good for my career, right, ma'am? So can you please
Never.
help me what approx the year, how much I have to work in one company so that another company will consider me?
Okay. So this question is continuously coming to me almost in every session. Let me tell you again, guys, this is completely your choice. Nobody can guide you on this. See, if you are a job hopper, right? And if you feel by hopping job, I'm able to grow more because I'm upskilling that way, I'm, getting more salary that way, there is nothing wrong into it.
But
Okay. And
HR
there
is not
cannot be
humans.
any fixed. Yes, there is no fixed stipulated period कि भाई इतना तो यहाँ पे रहना ही चाहिए. But yes, as a standard, if you ask me, minimum 2.5 years, you should stay in an organization to make your resume look good. If you show that you're a job hopper, every 6 months or every year you change the job, then that becomes a negative side of your candidature. So minimum 2.5 years, you should stay in a job and then you should change. And if in case your company is giving you enough of opportunity to upgrade you, to upskill you, if it is giving you good growth in terms of money, in terms of position, designation, then I would suggest that just because everybody is changing, the world is changing, I should change. You should not have even that kind of attitude. Stick to the company. The company has valued you even in your good and bad times. So you should also value that company equally. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Next person who wants to answer, who wants to question?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, my question is regarding like after a break, after we have taken off from a job for some personal reasons, and we are
Mhm.
re-entering the market and exploring our connections, and they have a job which is not directly
Mhm.
linked to the sector we were working in or we want to, because during a sabbatical kind of thing, we have upgraded or upskilled ourselves. Would it be good if we uptake that job because that opportunity is coming readily?
I didn't get you. Should you update that job?
Yeah, should because it is not directly linked with what we have uh, uh, upgraded ourselves or upskilled ourselves, because we want to move from one domain to other, but the job is coming directly and readily it's available from the contact. So would it be good to uptake that job, because for the time being we don't have one?
When you don't have a job and it is readily coming to you should never have a second thought in mind. Take it. You know, now this is something which is, you are Gopendra, right?
Yes,
Gopendra,
ma'am.
this is something which is psychology. Understand the psychology. When you have a regular income and then when you search, your search is always strong. Your confidence is always high. So now when you have nothing in hand and then you go out in the market, you always have that nervousness of losing something. So when readily something is coming to you, even if it relates to your previous skills, grab it. Maybe your upskilling will help you here in getting a better opportunity in a span of 3 months or 6 months, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And don't upset your networks, okay?
Yes.
Don't
Yes, ma'am.
upset your networks. They have showed that trust in you. So to some extent, you should always revert with the same trust and respect. Okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Yes.
ma'am. Ma'am, one more question I have regarding same, because we would be once we join the job, and we would be looking somewhere which aligns with our domain where we want to switch. And if we have that opportunity within 3 months or 4 months or after immediate joining, so how we can make the switch, or we can convey this to the contact, because that would be conflicting or something like that. So how we can tackle that?
Now, Gopendra, if you have got this job yourself, like through some portal or through some mail directly, you can leave this immediately. But if you have got a job through a reference, as I told you, respect this reference. Never leave that job immediately. Take some time and then leave it. Or if this person is close to you, you should go and explain things to him. That, see, boss, the scene is that I have joined when I had nothing in hand, but I know I'm leaving this in 2 months or 3 months period. But trust me, this is one of the opportunity which I have been waiting for long. So this is something where you have to make this person understand. The breaking of heart should not happen in life, because nothing is bigger than relationship, Gopendra. Okay,
Yes.
keep that in mind. I know I am sounding a little emotional here, but this emotional bonding is only something which helps us in our life, in every phase of our life. Okay, bad phase and good phase both. So we have to be ready for that. So now explain this to him that this is the reason that I want to change. I hope you will understand. So a good network, a good person will never stop you to grow.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
next. Any more questions you have? Or shall we end the session? Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Thank you for listening patiently. And Sanno wants to ask some question. Yes, Sanno? So this is your
Hello, good
official
evening, ma'am.
name? So this is your official name, Sanno?
Yes, ma'am.
Nice. Tell me.
मैम मैंने ये
Ma'am, I have a
पूछना था कि
question.
Wait. Sanno
Yes,
is
go on.
asking. Yeah.
मैम जैसे ये इंटरव्यू प्रैक्टिस के लिए जो आपने बोला कि वेबसाइट देखनी चाहिए, वेबसाइट पे अपनी तैयारी करो, तो वो वेबसाइट मतलब कौन सी है? एक्चुअली मेरे को आइडिया नहीं है उसका, तो उसके लिए पूछना था। कोई लिंक वगैरह शेयर कर सकते हैं क्या चैट बॉक्स में?
Okay. Okay, I'll share. It is India Bix is there where you can. Yeah. So I'll just mention. So you have. Yeah. So India Bix is there, and then you have Indeed. Yes, you have Indeed also. I'm sorry, it's not Indeed, it's Indeed. Okay. And then when you just go on Google, you just go on Google and search for, interview questions related to your field. You will get plenty of websites which carries lots of interview questions and answers. Okay. You can see, you don't have to learn directly what is mentioned there. You have to create a connect with your profile and the answer which is mentioned there, and create your own answer, Sannu. Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
these two which I
Okay,
can
thank you,
recall
ma'am.
right now. Otherwise, still there are plenty of websites which carries your questions and answers both. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank
Shubham
you
wants
so
to
much.
ask something.
Yes, ma'am. One of the most important aspect of interview is a salary discussion when it takes place on a salary. So how to answer those questions? I mean, if we have a previous package and what we are expecting, so I mean, how can we answer these type of questions?
Okay, fine. So Shubham, now one thing I have noticed in interviewing these Gen people. So now you just ask whatever comes in your mind. Okay, companies are not willing to pay you what is there in your mind. Company is willing to pay what they have already set as a budget, which is there in their mind. Okay, so when you have read the JD, when you have read the entire job details, they must have mentioned their budget. Okay, don't ask thing which is beyond the budget which is mentioned there. And if in case they have not mentioned the budget, they have not mentioned the salary, you should say that I am looking for a standard industry, a hike according to the industry standards, and which is 20 to 25%. Don't expect that I'm looking for a hike 40 to 50%. The chances of getting rejection comes here only. And the chances of selection is higher when you say 20 to 25%. Yes, in certain cases where the other guy has asked the question that I have upskilled myself and I have added lots of value to my profile, and then you are going to the interviewer, and when you know that with this kind of profile you can bring bigger changes in the organization, then you can ask for bigger hikes. But at any next job, you should not ask more than 20 to 25% of the hike, and you should not ask something which is beyond their budget if it is mentioned. Okay?
Madam, I have one small question. Rahul from
Yes,
this
ma'am.
side. So currently I am working in operation field and looking for in operation only, and manage that all operation and team members also. So what we can mention in our weakness point, which is recruiter is asking during interview. Can we get any short example?
No, there is no example. Okay, I have mentioned that during the slide description that आप पहले JD देखिए, look at the JD. Based on that JD, find out a weakness which you have and is not mentioned in this job role. Okay, and then that is what you can mention as your weakness. That maybe if the job is something where routine job is required, fine. So it's like every day you have to do the same job. So you can say that maybe creativity is something that I'm not apt into. So I am reading more books, more articles, and I am trying to be more creative in my life. So fine. So routine job doesn't require more of creativity, right? So something you have to find that weakness which is not mentioned or not directly related to the job. Did you get the point?
Yeah, got it, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. So you have to create that yourself. Yeah. Fine. So shall we end the session with this? So thank you,
Hello, ma'am.
guys.
I have a doubt. I have a question. I want to understand how can we elaborate to the interviewer if I have when I have been promoted from a technical role to a functional role, which is say for example, I was working on a I was working on a very technical role, and now I have been promoted for on a senior position, which is exactly not a functional position, but it is basically a technical position. But since I want to relate it to the position that I have applied for, which is functional, so I want to tell my interviewer that I got promoted from a technical position to a managerial position or a functional position. How to elaborate that?
So you have to show that you have upgraded yourself from an individual player to a team player. You have upgraded your skills into leadership role. Okay, and that is why along with your enhancing your technical skill, you have always also been able to enhance your soft skills, your relationship building. You have very strong interpersonal skills, because of which you are the one who was the best among rest of all in developing a good team. My team was somebody who has always completed their designated task in the designated time, in the deadlines. So this is all that you have to tell about yourself. Rest, जो भी आपने काम किया, whatever work you have done, because of which you have got this promotion, you have to articulate that properly in an answer and tell them. See, you got this promotion because of some reason, right? That you were promoted from technical to functional. So वो reasons क्या थे? So that is why I said, write it down somewhere. Otherwise, what happens? We tend to forget when we actually go for the interview. So write down those 2 साल 5 साल का आपका जो struggle था, which has helped you get this functional role, which has helped you getting this promotion. Write down all those points on a paper, and then you can answer that during an interview. That these were the reasons, these were my special contribution in the work, in the organization, that I have been able to get this promotion, get this change in the role. Okay, jot it down one by one and answer them. ऐसा कुछ इंटरनेट पे पढ़ करके आंसर मत जाइए. आपका तो लाइफ इतना अच्छा है. You have got growth because of your efforts. Why do you have to articulate something from outside? Getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
आपका हार्ड वर्क वहां पे शो होना चाहिए with the real life examples.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you. Thanks a lot, guys, for attending the session.